Now, ulcer patients are advised not to skip meals for longer hours as the situation leads to increased acidic content of the stomach, thereby causing severe pains and in some cases duodenal perforations. Now, as Muslims the world over are observing the 30-day long fasting from dawn to dusk, what is expected of an adult Muslim diagnosed of this condition? In this following report, my colleague Anas Sabet seeks to find answers as he engages experts in health and religion.
Health experts say that majority of ulcer patients may face complications including the recurrence of the disease and ulcer bleeding as a result of regular fasting in the month of Ramadan if they do not opt for proper medication after being diagnosed of the disease. These may develop life-threatening complications if they do not take extra care of their diet and medications. Medical Director at the Techiman Holy Family Hospital, Dr. Ernest Amiao, revealed to JoyNews that prolonged fasting may increase the acidic content in the fasting person's stomach, thereby causing severe abdominal pains.
In this period of Ramadan, if a patient has been diagnosed of ulcer, be it gastric or duodenal, gastric I mean stomach ulcer or duodenal, if the patient is having gastric ulcer, for example, ideally in this period of Ramadan, prolonged fasting would also mean that your acidic content in the stomach would increase and it would irritate the ulcer, causing pain, abdominal pain.
Dr. Ernest Amiao noted that even though the ulcer patient can still go ahead to fast, it is highly not advisable for a patient diagnosed with severe forms of ulcers and are on medications, as this could cause complications for the patient.
If the pain is so severe and endoscopy is done to confirm, if patient is on medication, for example, and has to take the medication within a period of time, we deal with it in hours. So 8 hourly, where you have to take your medication. Then we advise that you don't fast at all, because eventually you have to use water to take your medication. Then advisedly do not observe the Ramadan, because it can really create problems. And indeed, if care is not taken, for those who do not adhere, and in the elderly, it could actually even lead to gastric perforations. And that becomes a surgical condition to deal with.
He was, however, quick to admonish patients diagnosed with ulcers to be mindful of their choice of meals and as much as possible avoid acidic fruits and hot, spicy foods if they want to observe this religious obligation.
So we often would say that ideally it's good to fast anyways, but if you've been diagnosed of ulcer, then during this period of Ramadan, you could know the kind of foods that you would have to eat, your choice of foods you have to eat. Of course, you could eat your normal, if you're breaking fast, it should be step by step, slowly with water, taking light diet. But specifically, we advise that you avoid spicy foods, hot spicy foods, and then foods containing acidic contents like the oranges, the grapes, the pineapples, these kind of foods, and then spicy foods, you can avoid them.
Whilst fasting is obligatory on adult Muslims who attain the age of puberty, the Quran in chapter 2 verse 183 explicitly exempts some group of persons from practicing this important obligation. Malam Abdul Hanan Khidr is an Islamic scholar. He tells me that patients with chronic ulcers are part of these exemptions.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Alhamdulillah. Just as I recited the ayah, the 2 verses, Allah is saying that, O you who believe in Allah, it is written unto you to fast the month of Ramadan as it was written for the people before you, that is the people of the book, the Jews and the Christians. Then, to get to your point, said, if you are sick, or those of you who are on a journey, travelers, you can count the number of days you will miss and do it in other days that are not within the Ramadan period. So we come to the point of those who are having ulcer. If medically you are declared as somebody having ulcer, you shouldn't just be having some stomach pains, then you get up and say, I have ulcer. You have to go to a medical doctor, let him confirm that you have ulcer. Let the medical doctor advise you that with your ulcer you cannot fast, or with your ulcer you can fast on medication. If you advise that you can fast on medication, then you follow that one and fast on medication. But if it is that you cannot fast at all, even on medication you cannot fast, anytime it is due for fasting in the month of Ramadan, you will feed the poor.
Now, persons diagnosed with ulcers must endeavor to undergo medical checkups at least once before and during the fasting month of Ramadan to enable them to do so without complications. Anas Sabit, Joy News, Techiman.